there are many issues with modern dating, and there are many reasons why you should date like your grandfather did instead of like how you normally would. I'll go over some of the main issues and I'll go over what you can do to fix that. So, some of the issues, right? People aren't focused on one another. People are not. Like, there's some stingence of people who don't even care what the person is like. They just want to use them for money or for status. And there's like a major disconnect between people, and that comes from modern like cell phone addictions, which is one of the reasons why you should go on like what's called dopamine detox. And what that is just being on your phone less and doing less per se, what you'd call it, like social media, games, porn, none of that. None or very little of like the small stuff. The stuff that won't really affect you too much. And the reason why we do this is to build just mindfulness and more patience, more attention span, and to be more connected with what's actually going on in your community instead of like, oh, in Germany they banned furries? What? No way. So you care more about the stuff that's near you and less about the stuff that's far away from you, and that doesn't affect you. And another benefit from going on this dopamine detox is you hear less news. Because I'm pretty sure we all know this, but the news, it's biased. And it's made to make you think in a way they want you to think. Like if a news station wants you to go for this candidate, they'll speak in an uplifting view of this candidate, and they'll trash on this candidate. So, what's another way that you could build more of a rapport and be more just in tune with the person you want to date? Well, first, it starts with the person you actually want to date. And what I mean by this is you have to choose your people wisely. If you choose someone who's always on their phone, and then they're on their phone during the date, that's on your fault, right? You saw that they're always on their phone. And then there's two actions you can take from there. You can either give up on them, because they're way too, cell phone addicted, which would be, I'd say, the extreme option. And you don't want to try that until you try the second option, which is asking them to get off their phone. And if they don't, then they're just bad. They are not good for you whatsoever. A person who won't even get off their phone during the date is as bad as someone who would just go after you for your money. And another way that you can make sure that they're more in tune with you is to act more traditional. The main goal of what we want here is more or less traditionalism. And And the more traditional you act, the more likely they would be to act traditional too. So open the door for them, pull out their chair. Treat them like a gentleman. And you can't expect them to not be on their phone if you're on your phone. That is just narcissism. And narcissism isn't exactly what you want to be showing the person that you have. I mean, obviously, everyone's a little narcissistic. Even the most goody two-shoes people are a little bit narcissistic. But you don't want to be completely and openly, just showing that you don't care about your own rules and you'll bypass your own boundaries. And you also really just want to be like a gentleman in order to get the date again. You want to pay for their meal. And if you can't pay for their meal, then you shouldn't be dating. You only date, and you only go to a restaurant you can afford. And if you can only go to McDonald's or something, then you shouldn't be dating. That is just the end all be all of it. You've more priorities to look after than dating if all you can afford is Burger King. And to go on another date with the person, if it goes well, you always want to try and pick the date if you're the man. Pick where it is, pick the time, and see if it lines up with that person. And if they constantly rearrange, saying, "Oh yeah, we can do this," and then a day or two beforehand they cancel on you and they just keep doing that, then don't talk with that person. And there's some people that will use you as a talking bag, more or less. They might seem interested in you, but they really aren't. And what I mean by this is it would keep a conversation. It will be a conversation. It'll barely be a conversation though. It'll be hey, how are you? Oh, I saw you. How you doing? No real true information exchanging. It's just how are you messages, or what are you up to, or are you awake? You don't want to talk to those people who only message you like that, because they are using you for what I call talking bags. And it's sad that people have to have talking bags around. But I trust you to pick a person who is right for you. And the best tip that I have for getting the best date, the absolute best date, never ever go on a date with someone who you met at a nightclub, who you met at a bar, or anyone who was at a bad place, a place with any negative connotation. that includes the DMV. Okay? And that also includes if you heard that they have a negative, like if they did something bad, they're more likely to do it again. And as a man, you should not be taking risks like that. That is like dating a single mother. You should not be doing it. It's like a very risky situation for very little reward. Anyways, I wish you the best luck, soldier.